Veggies farm. Today I have two fun projects going on here on the farm. I am about to pressure can vegetable broth. I've been saving bags and bags and bags of scraps from vegetables when we cut them in the freezer, and I need the space in the freezer, so I have had those cooking in my large roaster pan since last night, and it's time to get those out and get that stuff canned up. So I'm going to be pressure canning that. And also Mark cut me two big boards, one to paint and one to stain. One is to go over our coffee bar, and the other one is going to hang on the wall. I'm going to stain that one, but that one is going to hang on the wall, and I'm going to use it to store my cast iron skillets. So I'm really excited about that. So I have to get those two, well, one of them painted, one of them stained, and then when Mark comes home from work, if they are dry enough, if they're dry, he will hang them, or he'll hang them tomorrow. He may actually hang them tomorrow, to be honest. But that is two things that I'm working on the farm today, and so I'm gonna bring you along with me to see what we're going to get into today. Okay, here's what we're working with. I have my large roaster pan, and look at this beautiful vegetable stock. So I'm going to can that up. I have my jars over here on the stove heating up. I have to take my pressure canner outside. These are the two boards that I'm talking about. One is going to go above our coffee bar, just right above our Berkey water dispenser. It's going to go right there, just right above that. And then the other one that I'm going to stain is going to hang here next to the window, and it is going to have my cast iron skillets hanging from it. So now what I need to do while my jars are heating up, I'm going to raise the temperature on my roaster pan, and I'm going to run out to Mark's shop and grab the stain. I already have the paint up here, but we decided last minute to stain that other piece of wood. So I'm going to run out to Mark's shop, grab that stain, and come back. And once I get all of the jars loaded, and I go through all the steps that you have to go through to pressure can these jars, I am going to paint and stain on the porch while the vegetable stock process. It is a beautiful day. It's nice and warm. It's a beautiful day out. I put the dogs in the house because I don't want them running around on the porch when I'm pressure canning. We do all of our pressure canning outside, and I didn't want them running around on the porch and possibly knocking my canner stove over. Look at these guys. They are just as happy as they can be out here in the sunshine. They are enjoying the sunshine. That's so cute. Oh, they're a mess. A couple of them keep getting out, and we have to run around and chase them. Mark picks them up and gets them back in there. Let me set you down while I look for our paint container. I'm not real sure where it is in here, so I'll sit you down until I find our paint and stain. Shoo! Oh! Shoo shoo! Shoo shoo! Shoo shoo! Woo! Jesus! Back in business. My goodness. I'm pretty sure it's the same chicken that gets out every single time. Okay, here's what we're working with. I'm going to do red mahogany on the one for the cast iron skillets. And the reason I'm doing stain on that one is because Mark said that there's a good chance that taking the cast irons on and off of the wood would scratch off the paint, so I don't want to do that. And then this is called Old Key. It's a dark color of gray, and it's the same color of gray that matches our cabinets. And I want to use this to paint the shelf that's going to go on top of the coffee bar. So this is what we got out of 6 bags after it's cooked down of scraps. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it in a pan and take it to the chickens after it cools off this evening. And if they eat it, fine. If they don't, I'll pull the pan out and go throw it in the compost pile. So now what we want to do is take a cheesecloth and strain this again. We want to make sure we get every particle out of it so it'll be nice and clear. So I'm going to grab my cheesecloth and start straining this. Okay, here we go. We have 2 big bowls to strain this in, and a measuring cup for dipping, and our cheesecloth over this bowl, and we will start straining this and then get out all of the little particles. I should have figured out a better system for this, but this will work. You just keep pouring it in until we get a bowl full, and then we'll move on to the next bowl, and hopefully, look how pretty that is. Can you see how pretty that is? That is just gorgeous stock. Or broth, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It's vegetable juice. Okay, so I'm going to pull this cloth up, and we are going to see just what this does. That is hot, hot. I need to turn it off before I forget. See how slow that is? It has the big bag here, and it's draining pretty slow. That's because there is a ton of little particles in there. So just move it around on the cheesecloth until it all drains out. But I'll show you what you can expect to get out of it as far as particles go. So we'll squeeze this. That is really hot. Holy moly. Okay. I'll show you what the inside of this looks like. This is why you want to strain it really, 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 really good. To get all of that out. I'm actually going to get my second cheesecloth and use it on this one and not use that one again. So I'll just get that one strained out. Okay, we have our 7 quarts of vegetable stock in. And the next thing I'm going to do is wait. I'm going to put the lid on that. Wait for it to come up to temperature. Once it does and it starts to steam, we're going to let it steam for 10 minutes. After it's steamed for 10 minutes, I'll put the weighted gauge on, and we need to let these process for 35 minutes. Piece of this plastic, it's a dog food bag. I laid that on the table so we don't make a mess. And I have the wood here. I need to sand it first and then wipe it down, and then we'll start staining it. Get all that dust off. We'll just wipe that down. And I'm still watching the canner. I'm waiting for it to come up to a boil and for the steam to start coming out. And once that happens, we'll set our timer for 10 minutes and let it come up to pressure. So we have this all wiped down. Put it back here on our paper. I don't have a paintbrush, so I'm just going to use an old rag for this. And hopefully I can get this open with a screwdriver because I forgot to bring a paint can opener. Oh, that's pretty. That's a pretty color. I don't know if you can tell. Probably not. That's a really pretty color. Okay, our steam is coming out, so I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. Timer set for 10 minutes for the steam to release on our pressure canner. I'm going to use an old rag. I don't have a paintbrush, so I'm just going to use an old rag. And I am using red mahogany to stain this piece of wood. And this is going to be the piece that where I will hang my cast iron skillets. This is Old Key Gray. It's the same color as our cabinets inside that we painted. It's paint and primer in one. Now, I do not have a paint stirrer, so this is our little grandson's spoon that he likes to beat the drums with. And so what I'm going to do is take off this piece and it's going to become my paint stirrer. I've been sitting out here shaking this for a little while. I don't know if you can see it. It's a really pretty shade of gray. I love it. These are our beautiful stained and painted boards. They turned out nice. I'm excited to get those hung up. So what I decided to do on this piece of wood that's going to be the shelf over our coffee bar is just put this contact paper on it, and the other side is the gray. So I'm getting ready to trim the edges off of that, and I have the second load of veggies broth. It's doing its steam thing, so as soon as it steams for 10 minutes we'll put the weight on and wait for it to come up to pressure, and then those will process for 35 minutes as well. The canner has come down to 0 pounds of pressure, so we need to let this sit here for about 5 minutes and then I can take the lid off.